Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Eagle Eye Podcast. It is episode 57, and boy, do we have plenty and plenty to break down. We got so much to talk about. We got Copa MX action, we got Liga MX to break down, we got Ladies Aguilas to discuss, and we have, as always, trivia. And for the first time ever in Eagle Eye history, we have a viewing party that we're going to be talking about as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, strap on your seatbelts, sit tight. It's going to be a crazy, crazy ride. But as I go forward, let me introduce today's co-host, Mr. Christian Rosendo. Christian, how are we doing?
Pretty good, man. Just long day today, but I'm ready to pod though. My favorite time of the day.
Favorite time of the day. Now, don't worry, for those of you who are asking, where is Mr. Cowboy Dan? Well, he just finished having dinner with Mr. Morgan Freeman. So, you know how those things can kind of delay. So he will be on the podcast shortly. Of course, he's finishing up, tidying things up around, and hopefully he'll join us pretty soon so he can get into the discussion. But Christian, we got plenty to break down, plenty to talk about. What better place to start off than with Copa MX? Then we'll jump into the league, and then give a little bit of a shout out to the ladies, and then of course we'll close out the show with a very exciting viewing party.
Oh, dude, I'm excited to talk about the viewing party. You've been working very hard on this, and I hope it all comes to fruition.
I hope so too. I hope so too. We'll get to the viewing party in a little bit later. Right now, let's talk business. Let's talk about Las Águilas del América going up against Necaxa yesterday in the Copa MX match, in which the team saw out a 3-1 victory. Wasn't the prettiest of games in the first half. Second half picked up, but still wasn't the best of games at all. It was pretty much a Necaxa B side, almost even a C side.
Mm-hmm.
But the boys rattled up and then they came through, and two big goals for Roger Martinez in to boost his confidence. I mean, what more can we say? We also had a debut of Nicolas Benedetti. I mean, so much to talk about.
Yeah. Like you said, though, we didn't look our best, in my opinion. Even in the first half, I was watching the game. And I'm thinking to myself, well, let's see, this is 95% of our starting lineup, and we can't seem to put one past this Necaxa BC team. It was a little bit worrying, but as you saw throughout the game, we started connecting better and creating better chances, ultimately leading us to the victory.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I'm interested to hear to see what the people in the chat have to say about this. Obviously, always have something to talk about. Always have something to say in regards to what we're discussing. But you're right. It just didn't seem to be this America side that we've known. And I think the thing that frustrated me the most was the youngsters again getting the opportunity
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
and still not giving us the perfect performance that you want. I'm not, and in the sense when I say perfect, I'm not saying that you have to have an all well-rounded game. I just want to see more from them. And I
Hmm.
think this is a discussion me and my dad were actually having yesterday. We are sitting down, we are talking, and it looked like Clemente couldn't get past his marker. It couldn't just get one through. Uh, Cordoba, who had a pretty good game against Querétaro, and we'll discuss about that, just didn't seem to be himself in this game against Necaxa, which is funny enough. This is I would take it that it was probably an even tougher opposition, and he shined in that game rather than this one where he had a little bit more liberty to do what he wanted.
Hmm.
And so the fact that we had these two youngsters coming into the side again, getting these chances to prove themselves, and the space looks like it's almost gone now with the return of possibly Ibargüen coming back into the mix of things. Um, and it just looks like these these chances are starting to fade away, and I mean, you'd expect them to want to take it, you know, by all means necessary, but it doesn't seem to be the case at this moment.
Yeah, like you said about touching on the Clemente subject a little bit, you heard the announcers even say throughout the game, Miguel Herrera was just, hounding him, like, yo, come on, let's do this right, do this better, just seemed like he was uncomfortable that game. We'll talk about it more when we talk about the Querétaro game, but for me, I know how you feel about him in the first half against the Querétaro game, but for me, the Querétaro game, he did do things that I kind of liked, and it showed that he wanted to be more in the game and start creating more chances, be more open, you know, get draw the attention more to him. But as the game uh, plays out, you see him like fade a little bit, and then he starts losing the ball more, making bad decisions. But like you said, Clement is one of those youngsters that you starting to think that what, maybe it's time to ride the bench a little bit or start playing in the under 20s.
It is a funny, like, we had this discussion. on the weekend.
Mhm.
Whether or not he was actually performing.
Yeah.
And
They
and,
were
and now we're having this one again, and it just seems to be the case. And I know we're not the only ones talking about this. I know there's other people out there, especially on Twitter, that are discussing this, that are talking about this. Even the commentators were saying, you know what, this kid is a promising player, but just he doesn't seem to give us what everyone else is talking about. He kind of gives me a reminder of Insal Runde. Remember,
a little bit.
we talked about how great this player is in practice, all the things he's done right, everything that he does, and just when it comes to him being on the pitch, something seems to just get to him, and he
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be the same player.
Mhm. I mean, do you think it'd be the nerves or something? I mean, he is still a youngster, but then again, you can't really put that excuse on him because he has been getting first team minutes, so those nerves should be out the window already. So another excuse I can put on him, I really can't think of one. I think it's just time to, look at other options. You have Tucho Lopez on the bench, who me, you, and Dylan rate him higher than Clemente on the wing, and we just don't see much of him in that position.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Although, our good friend Mr. Chicken Nugget says that's not his position, though.
Yes,
And
you're
we
right.
agree to that.
You're
We,
right.
we agree to that. But still, you're given the opportunity. I think you'd want to flourish in it. I mean, perfect example, Tony Lopez, who has been placed almost everywhere on the pitch. I'm surprised he hasn't even been the goalkeeper at times. Left back, left wing, right wing, center mid. And he knows that these chances come very little, and he's done them fairly well, especially in positions that you think he would absolutely not thrive in. But he's done pretty well, and that speaks something. That speaks to many, and a lot of do people question why he's not playing some of these games. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the rule of the youngsters, how old do they have to be?
They have to be 20. Don't they have to be 21 and under?
21, right?
Definitely. I'm pretty sure 21 or 22 under. I'm pretty sure.
I'm guessing it's 21 because I
I'm
think
gonna say 21. Yeah, I'm gonna just say 21.
Tony Lopez is what, 22 or 21 also. I believe he should be somewhere in between that.
Oh, actually, I don't know, to be honest.
I but I think the reason why Clement is playing is because he's a lot younger.
Right. So I guess that could be the reason why, because you do need to fulfill the minutes in Copa MX too. I think there's a separate rule though in Copa MX. I forgot what game I was watching. It could have been the America game, but the announcer was saying how something about you can't take out this player because then you'll be violating like the rule or whatever, or like you're supposed to have a minimum of like 3 under 20 players on the field or something like that. I don't know. The rules are very complicated. Now I really don't keep up with them, and I think I should, because now I probably sound like an idiot right now.
Well, we'll do our homework a lot much better for next week's podcast. But our good friend Mr. Chicken Nugget again, informing us perfectly that it's under 20.
It is
So
not
the rule
20.
is under 20. So again, Tony Lopez doesn't qualify for that automatically. So you kind of are taking up a spot right there,
Right.
when you give it to someone who's younger. And I think that's what we're giving Clemente so much. And this is something that I've said to you guys. I don't think I've said it openly here on the podcast, but we're putting the youngsters in so early right now so we can comply with the minutes, so that way later on in the season we don't have to use them.
Right. But like you also said though, in the subject of opportunity, they're getting the opportunity. They should be making more of it. Maybe down the line, God forbid, players start to get injured again, and then you look to your cantera. Fresh young players looking to make a move. But do you really consider Clemente as as a possible replacement? Like, you start to wonder a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's definitely getting enough spotlight here on the Eagle Eye podcast. We've talked about him
Yeah.
consistently now
No.
for
Well,
2 days.
I mean,
So let's hope we can shut our mouths
improve.
and keep
Yeah.
progressing.
Hmm.
But now let's move ahead, move besides the youngsters, and talk about the whole game as a perspective. I think ultimately the game was enjoyable. It wasn't
It was.
horrible. It wasn't like last week's Atletico San Luis game. It was just terrible to watch.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit more better. This one, there's still some frustration because you still wanted to see a better side. Because, to be honest, about 70% of the people there were probably starters.
Yeah, it was just Clemente, Cordova, and Carlos Vargas that weren't starters.
Yep. We'll have to wait
So,
and see.
and the reason why, obviously, is to secure our
Our spot into the next round.
our entry into the next round. Yes. So by winning yesterday, we did that. We're officially in. We don't have to depend on next week's result between Necaxa and San Luis. So overall, the night, I think it was a success.
It was on all aspects actually. Really, if you think about it, the team is starting to play with each other a little bit more. These kind of Copa MX games, sometimes a lot of people dread the fact that it will interrupt the play that your starters have in
Mhm.
between in between the games. But the starters are seeing each other a little bit more frequently. They're starting to play with each other better. Hopefully, we can attest to this on Saturday's game against Leon, and we see a much better team. Because I will discuss about this as well. Querétaro, the game wasn't at all pretty either. It was actually
Right.
quite dull, quite boring.
Yeah.
And I think the only life it had was actually the golazo from Renato Ibarra. And this Necaxa game had a little bit more than that. It gave us a little bit more excitement. It gave us a little bit more to cheer about. The first half it wasn't that good. You go up a goal by a penalty, strange. With a handball and everything. But Emmanuel Aguilera comes in, slots it home. I think the most important part about it is that our penalty taker is actually
No.
getting
Yeah. Mhm.
is getting the job done, and I think that's the most important part because it's one thing we dreaded is the penalties, and hopefully that is a curse we're leaving behind, and
Yeah.
now we can be a well-rounded team in all aspects.
Definitely. You bring up the penalty taking aspect of it, and you're right. Aguilera seems to be comfortable with it. I think that's a big plus for us, and we can hopefully once again feel happy when the ref points to that spot, and there's a very good chance of us going up on the scoreboard.
But yeah, definitely, we dreaded it so many times. So it's good to see that our team is finally taking those opportunities. And then second half rolls around and you see a much better America side. I mean, we get a goal right away at the
Oh
beginning
yeah.
with a
hmm
great Roger Martinez finish,
Yeah.
um, which is good to see him get some confidence.
Oh, definitely. The way he controlled the ball and just got past the defender was a thing of beauty to watch. And like you said, just the confidence boost. We need that. And I think he's aware. Okay, listen, Nico Castillo just came. I gotta get going, or else I'm gonna be riding this bench, or even sitting out of the whole squad because we have two extra foreigners, and he does not want to be one of them sitting out. So it's good to see Roger Martinez score this one
And
and
I'm
the
glad we
one.
bring up that topic. We will discuss it. If it's not this podcast, it definitely will be the next one. We have a lot of foreigners, and we got to get rid of a couple in this summer window. It should be interesting to see what people think about which players should leave. I've heard a couple of people say Emmanuel Aguilera should leave. I was probably one of those people that wanted him gone at the beginning of last season. But looking at what he's been able to do now, I would say that he's fighting for a spot to stay with America this next transfer window. But that's going to be for a discussion later on during the podcast or for the next show. But it's an
Mhm.
interesting one to have nonetheless. But yes, the Roger thing was beautiful. It it
Yes.
it, it showcased exactly what we've been talking about the athleticism that he has, the muscle build, the strength, the power to get through defenders. He's not the most tactical dribbler, but yet when he wants to and when he can, he goes for it. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out for him. But the one times that it does, he can showcase exactly everything
Mhm.
that we've been praising him for. And he showcased that in that goal. And throughout the match, he was alive. He wanted the ball. He was checking in. He was doing a lot of the stuff that we praised. A man who played yesterday but was nowhere in sight. Henry Martin.
I sound like a broken record, honestly. Last podcast, I said the same thing. I'm gonna say it again this week. Henry Martin is known to have these little sprouts of good moments. Okay, I score a goal here, a brace here, a goal here, but then he just shuts off, and like you can't even say that he's not getting minutes because he's getting minutes. He's starting, he's playing. 70 minutes a game. Do something at least. I think it was you that tweeted yesterday that
Yeah.
when Henry was getting subbed out, you were like, wait, what? Henry was actually playing? Like,
No,
yeah, and it felt like that, honestly.
No, and I'm telling you, like I was sincere. I was on my phone, I was tweeting. I was doing the live tweeting, and my dad was, they said Nicolas Benedetti was coming on, and my
Mhm.
dad was like, "Oh, I think they're most likely gonna take a 40." He's like, "I'm pretty sure they're gonna take out Henry." I looked at him, I said, "Wait, Henry's playing?" Like sincerely shocked and surprised that Henry would, and it shouldn't have been because I saw the lineup right before kickoff, and I knew Henry was up top, but throughout the whole game Henry was not mentioned once by the narrators, at least that I remember. and he didn't get the ball at all. I'd be surprised to see how much touches he even had, but
Hmm.
it was terrible. And we said Henry. Henry is the guy for these Copa Mekis matches. Henry is the guy who was supposed to show up and say, "Look, I'm the Copa Mekis guy. I'm the guy who should be fighting for a spot in the league. Give me a chance." And we've given him time to time to time again. And times he responds with some goals. Other times he doesn't even look like he's on the pitch. I mean, there is no in between with Henry, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I think that's the most worrisome part is he hits the ground running for a little bit, yet he does it so quickly that he just can't seem to last for the rest of the season, and hence why he just goes quiet.
Hmm. No, I definitely agree with you, and it sucks to see because, like I said before, you have the arrival of Nico Castillo, and for right now, he's at the bottom of the list to start. Henry Martin, in my opinion. And it sucks to see because I know there's a lot of people who like Henry Martin and think he can perform better. But listen, guys, he's been given the chance. I mean, come on, man. He by now he would have to shown us a little bit more. Yes, I agree with you guys also that Roger Martinez hasn't also been the flashiest player, but like Ivan says, though, at least he's showing himself in the game. Like he wants to play, he wants the ball, wants to create something, not just walking around and just expecting things to come. Roger goes out there and at least tries to find things, create stuff at least. But it's a little bit sad to see considering his good start to the season.
Yeah. Well, we know a certain cowboy likes Henry, but we'll have to wait and
Hmm.
see what his take is on all of this when he does join the podcast later.
Hmm.
But overall, Henry comes out. Nicolas Benedetti makes his debut, plays a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit,
Hmm.
like around 30-ish minutes, a little less than 30. But he comes in, and I'll tell you something. I don't really expect much from players within less than 30 minutes, but from what I saw from him, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm excited,
Yeah, he
and
looked
I am very excited. And that's hard for me to accept because whenever these kind of players come abroad, I take it with a grain of salt because I've seen time and time again players
Cerrale.
come into the team, big hype, big speculation that they're gonna be this next best thing, and they end up flopping. I mean, Roger in a sense is kind of that thing. He was promised to be the next big Colombian striker. He was promised to be this next Cabañas, and then of course after that, I mean, I don't know. Hasn't really
Yeah.
showcased us that. But Nikos Benedetti comes in and he has some spark to him. He has some life to him. He showcased it in just a little bit of time that he had. He looks good on and off the ball. His movement is great. He looks like he's fast. He knows how to control the tempo. He knows how to control the game. He great ball control. Very good delivery. And I think we have a very good talented player in our hands. It's whether or not he can continue that run of form and see through it out that he can fight for a spot in the starting 11 because I don't think any of us can argue that he's talented.
Definitely. And I mean, you've said all his qualities, so I don't have to repeat that. But the thing I like the most, and I think I'll appreciate it more for Miguel Herrera, is putting him in that cam position, because throughout the whole week and since his arrival, I've been seeing posts on Twitter and commentators saying, "Oh, so he's gonna take over the left wing position." But in my mind, and in your mind too, because I know you talked about this with me, we were like, "Wait, but why is he gonna play left wing position if his natural position is the cam? That's where he excels. That's where he plays the best. So why would you limit him and putting him on the left wing? It doesn't make sense." And I also heard the commentators say that Miguel Herrera has been using him on the left wing in practice, and that scares me a little bit because, like I just said, he's not a left wing. He can play the left wing position definitely, but he shines more as a cam, and I think we saw a little glimpse of that yesterday. So I really hope he continues to put him on in the cam position.
No, yeah, definitely. Our good friend Mr. Chicken Little saying Nicolas Benedetti is nicknamed the next James Rodriguez down in Colombia.
So is
Whether or not we
everyone.
have the next James, well, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully he can be.
El Poeta.
Um, huh?
El Poeta. Isn't that what they call him? That's his
Yes,
nickname? El
the
Poeta?
poet.
The Poet.
El Poeta kind of does look like a poet, to be honest. I think you can find him at a Starbucks somewhere writing in his book.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he looks like he's a solid player, so we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, like everyone's been mentioning in the chat, he's not a winger, and I don't see him as a left wing. Mr. Chicken Nugget doesn't see him as a left wing. I mean, most of us probably don't see him as a left wing. I mean, I think I think his best virtue is down in that camp position. But then we run into the situation as to who's gonna play there now, because
Mhm.
Mateus Uribe was potentially gonna be there, and
Yeah.
now Benedetti's gonna be there. And what about when Menes comes back? So now it's all this
Ooh.
talk about what position and who's gonna play in what. So it's interesting. It's internal competition, which is great because we
It's a
get to
good
see the best
problem.
out of everyone, hopefully. So Miguel Herrera does have a situation at hand, and I mean, he said it himself. Every manager would kill to be in my position, to have all these talented players, and to think,
Mhm.
who am I gonna start and who am I gonna leave out?
Oh,
So
definitely. Yeah.
that one spot though, the left wing spot is definitely a concern for me. To have only Ibargüen there, and to have players like Clemente only be the substitute there. I mean, Tony Lopez is also an option, a very good viable option, but it doesn't look like he's opting to use him there.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit worried, and I said it too once the transfer window closed. I said America needed a winger. America forcefully needed another winger, and
Mhm. I
it's
mean,
worrisome to see that we lost so much depth in that department, and now we're really short-handed. You know,
it honestly wouldn't surprise me, and this is such a Miguel Herrera thing. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I wouldn't surprise me if he puts Benedetti on the left wing until the summer, to the end of the season. I meant, and then most likely we'll talk about this later on in the season, but most likely gonna offload Menes, in my opinion. Depending on what he does this year, but it's not looking good for him. Offload Menes, and then you go out in the market and buy a left winger. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that, to be honest.
yeah. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. But he comes in, showcases some very good football, Benedetti, and then of course, almost had himself a goal. To be honest,
Oh yeah, he did.
would have been interesting to see that.
He was-
But he linked up very well with Roger, by the way,
yeah,
very well with Roger.
it's that Colombian connection.
Definitely, it's that cafetero connection going and getting
Imagine
things going.
the trio of Roger, Uribe, and Benedetti.
And then you gotta win. That's a
Anybody win?
quadruple.
That's quadruple. That's
That's
coffee
a
beans
square.
all coffee beans all day.
Well, that's not technically a square. Whatever has four sides, I guess, a rectangle
Rectangle,
or whatever other shapes. I
a
was never good
diamond,
at geometry.
a diamond.
Um, but I mean, we have good options there. So
Yeah.
him
So.
coming in, and I think we'll end on this note in regards to Benedetti. The fact that he was running up and down, the fact that he kept asking for the ball, and the fact that he kept going at Mexico City altitude for as long as he did,
Mhm. It's
uh,
impressive.
surprised me a lot. And I
Yeah.
think that's what gave me more excitement is the fact that he lasted so long in that altitude, and he didn't look like he was choking.
Honestly, I think he just knows who he's playing for, and that's what excites me because he knows that he's a part of a big institution now, and he knows that he has to level up, bring up his game just that much more, and I just can't wait to see more of him.
Definitely, definitely. So the game ends. America wins 3-1. The goal we get scored on is just really terrible, and really
Yeah.
terrible in the fact that it was terrible goalkeeping too.
Mhm.
I don't know what Jimenez was doing trying to catch that ball. I think it's goalkeeper 101 in that situation. You parry that ball out. You never try to hold on to it.
Mhm.
And I mean,
I mean, the kid was 17 years old though. Imagine that story he's gonna tell one day.
yeah, but then you Google you Google and you YouTube the goal, and you're just like,
I don't care.
it wasn't
If
that
I,
good. It wasn't
if
that good of
I'm
a goal.
if
The
I'm
goalkeeper,
17 and
the
I
goalkeeper
scored
could have
on
done it.
America and the Estadio Azteca, oh dude, best believe I'm framing that everywhere around my house.
So in Photoshop that Jimenez didn't put his arms here. Is it right here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
What that
but
kid, comes
yeah,
up. Looks like he's talented though.
yeah.
Looks
Looks,
like he's talented.
but yeah, like you said, overall good game, and yeah, just we're through to the next round. That's the most important part.
Definitely. So America's up into the next round. We'll have to wait and see exactly who our opponents are.
Yeah.
Nothing is 100% in the rest of the other groups. So things are still being played out, of course. And we'll have to wait and see whether or not America makes it against an easier opposition, or whether or not we're going to get a little bit someone with a little bit more colmillo. But
Mhm.
again, we'll have to wait that, and we'll keep you guys updated. And if you guys want to know where it is that you guys can find all these news that we keep you updated with, well, it's on our Twitter handle. Our Twitter is at Eagle Eye Podcast. It used
Cast
to be Eagle Eye Pod, and now it's Eagle Eye Podcast. It's
branding,
yes,
Brandon
branding.
101. If you guys want a little tip.
That is our Twitter and Instagram as well. So make sure
and
you guys go
YouTube
follow us.
and
And
Spotify and
and
iTunes
Spotify,
and
iTunes.
SoundCloud.
Look at that. We're almost
Oh, let's
everywhere.
go. Almost. We still need to go for a few more, but within
Few-
time.
Within time, we'll get there within time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is
Uh
uh
oh,
that is that segment. And as we are closing that segment, a cowboy has arrived into the vicinity. Ladies and
Daddy.
gentlemen, welcome, Mr. Cowboy Dan Dillon. How are we doing, my friend?
Doing good. Doing good here in San Angelo.
Nice. It was a perfect segue.
I miss you.
Don't lie to me.
So, you got to tell us. I told everyone you were a little late because you just finished up having dinner with Morgan Freeman. So how was that?
Tell people these lies and slander. Throw my reputation out there for it to go down, don't you?
What are you talking about? Morgan
You're
Freeman
Morgan
is
Freeman.
I think top 5 on everyone's list to have dinner with one day.
Morgan Freeman or me?
No, you.
Oh,
I
He's
think I
lying.
think Morgan Freeman was just excited to have you.
that's just all that Lambusco talk.
Well, it's good to have you back, my friend. It's good to have you back on the podcast. So we just finished up talking about the Copa MX. Anything you want to say before we move on?
No, I got an extra chance to watch it on my phone and listen. I think I hit everything.
Perfect.
What I do.
Alrighty. Well, we're gonna move on.
I give.
Uh-huh.
Did you say how did you do, Christian?
Yeah.
I give you a 10 out of 10, and I gave Ivan a 1 out of 10.
Thank you.
You're
Why?
welcome.
Why is it? Because.
All right, next segment, Ivan. Let's go.
Next segment.
Well, apparently Dylan's handing out report cards. Okay. Well, we're gonna move on into the next segment. All right. So let's jump into the league talk. Let's jump and let's talk América versus Querétaro. Obviously, the boys walked away with a 2-0 win in the Estadio Azteca. The most notable things about those games was 1, Renato Ibarra scored the golazo.
Ooh.
2, Roger Martinez got himself on the score sheet, which ultimately boosted his confidence for yesterday's game. And 3, the team walked away with a clean sheet. I think those are only the 3 positives I can take away from this game because I'm looking back at it. I don't understand what is it that this team did right in a sense that we haven't seen already or critiqued.
Wait, what happened? Why are we laughing?
Because I guess you guys don't. I mean,
Well, I mean, things that we did do good. I think in the first half we actually controlled the game. We dictated
Yeah.
tempo. I think that was a big plus for us because that was something we criticized this team all season, all last season, that we didn't know how to do that until the later parts. And I think this game we did a pretty good job about that. I don't know if it was more of us doing like enforcing something to do it or just Querétaro sitting back a little bit. May have do something with both, but in that regard, I think we did pretty good in control of the game.
definitely. Now, before we go any further, I kind of want to address this. Chicken Biscuit says, I think the best perfect trio for a dinner date is Cowboy Dan, Morgan Freeman, and Betty White. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a very good evening.
That sounds like a funny evening. Like I would come home with like my, I don't know, my stomach in pain because I've been laughing too much.
I don't know. I think Betty White would be playing footsies with Dylan.
Oh dear Lord.
Ooh.
All right. Sorry about that. Just had to address that. But yes, yes, we controlled the game quite well for throughout the whole match. I would say there's times here and there where Querétaro had the ball.
Yeah.
But look, I was seeing this game and there was no real thrill. There was no real excitement.
Mm-mm.
And usually there's times where I watch these games and I think, okay, let me flip it around. Let me focus my perspective on the defending side of things. Are we controlling the space? Are we shutting down options for the opposition? And yes and no, because I felt like Querétaro wasn't pushing us as hard at times, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think most of this responsibility will fall on Querétaro that they didn't come at us. Obviously, there was that times in the second half where they looked more alive and they came. But I think we shut them down pretty well. it's just I felt a little creativity going forward. I felt obviously it was a very injured America side. Injuries, red cards. We weren't the full studded side that everyone's so used to, but still the players that we had out there had more than enough talent to go out and prove something to us.
Mhm.
I mean, Dylan, you looking at this game, you're looking at both halves, and you're seeing this lack of creativity, this lack of movement. What is it? What is it that's crossing your mind?
No, I mean, it's just kind of like what Christian said. I think the first half we give it to America, and then I'm thinking in my mind still, here comes the dreaded second half, because I think we've seen before. America comes out, they do the good stuff in the first half, and they lose in the second half, is what came about in this game, and not seeing too much creativity. I think that's just been one of those problems that we've had, that we've talked about too. Another broken record. 9 shots on target throughout the whole game, 17 total shots. Not necessarily the best, but it's not cheeks either. So,
He said that's not cheeksy. Dude, what?
Dylan, you are the reason why this podcast sometimes becomes controversial.
I mean,
there goes our
I
sponsor.
no, but like, some of the creativity, came from Renato. I mean, you didn't really get. Guido doing Guido. You didn't get that much from Cordova, and then obviously Clemente on the left side. You're not gonna get much there either. So, I mean, it
But
is
you're
what-
right.
I mean,
I feel like there's no better way to describe that though. Like you're right.
No,
It wasn't.
definitely, yeah.
there's not, because what Piojo fielded is what you're gonna get, and I think that's what we got.
We did not get cheeks, as Dylan so gracefully put it for us. And you're right. We didn't. And it's a bit shocking. And then we talked about this already, Christian. But the fact that these youngsters come out and they don't give us everything that they can, kind of makes you miss Linus. A kid that was actually willing to do something and get results.
Yeah.
At times I feel like everything gets too big for them. They kind of close up. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not they can get past that. I don't know if there's much to talk about this. I mean, for those people who don't really know the lineup that we had, does anyone have it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Of course,
Dylan,
I do. Let me give the lineup, since I got it right. I finally got it right.
That is right. We have to give a big
that out there.
congratulations to Dylan here, who actually, for some reason, got 100% the lineup correct. He's been you're the only one to get the lineup right before, and you're the only one to predict the score right, score line correct, because no one predicted a 2-0 victory.
I didn't predict a 2-0 victory though.
No, no. It was last season. You predicted a scoreline, right? But no one predicted a 2-0 victory that I can remember, at least, because Christian, you said 2-1, right?
I said 2-1. Yeah, I don't know why, but
Dylan, you said 2-2. I mean, outrageous. I don't know what was going through your head. And then, of course, I predicted 4-0. So,
of course,
obviously, we were all completely wrong. But Dylan, go ahead, give everyone the lineup.
It was Marchesín, Aguilar, Alvarez, Valdez, Reyes, Ibarra, Guido, Cordova, Clemente, Henry, and Roger.
You saw that, and then you thought, one, damn, Cowboy Dan does it again, and then two, damn, is that really all we got?
I mean, no. Well, I mean, to an extent, I think y'all were talking about the rule about playing the youngsters, and so, I mean,
yeah, you.
I mean, because at this point, you gotta. No, I didn't think Ortega, but that's just me. I'm gonna leave that to you because I know you did, Ivan. But I mean, at this point, like you're gonna comply with it. You're trying to get it out of the way, and so you're kind of thinking like, yeah, this isn't the best we got, but I understand, but I don't like it really that much.
Yeah, actually, funny thing about that, Edson didn't look so good at center back.
I was just about to bring that up. I don't know if by you guys, but he looked a little bit shaky to me at center back. I mean, maybe because he hasn't played the position in a while, but yeah, he didn't look sharp, but he didn't look bad either.
Yeah, that's what I say.
he just looked a bit off. Like
A
like
bit.
he just got caught off guard at times.
Mhm.
Because maybe you're right. He just hasn't played there in a while too. He reminds me of a very 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 young Edson Alvarez. When he was playing back center back, and I would critique him off for that same thing. But Piojo saw it right away and made the adjustments in the second half. So Edson, who actually once he came back into the midfield, my goodness, did we look very solid going forward.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because we can trust that Guido Edson partnership works, but it's also a bad thing because that putting Edson there, and if we play the same formation, it takes away a Mateus Uribe that could be slotted in there, and you're thinking to yourself, well, if there's no argument to take Edson out of there right now, does Uribe sit the bench, and do you really want to have a player like Uribe on the bench?
Some would argue yes, because I mean, can you imagine can you imagine him coming on in the second half?
No, yeah,
In
definitely,
the second
but
half?
is Uribe a second a super sub though? Is what I'm trying to get at. Like, does
Might just be for this season.
could be. You're right. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Just in my opinion, I just don't. In my world, I just don't see Uribe as a super sub. Like, yes, he had a pretty decent and bad decent season last season, but he still has a boatload of potential, and we know what he can
Yeah.
bring to the table. So it's just a little bit weird in my opinion.
Unless Mateus Uribe learns how to play left wing, I don't see him starting in this America side anytime soon.
Right. But we'll have to see how Piojo plays this because it's gonna be very interesting.
So, funny enough, man of the match went to Renato Ibarra. They had a poll, America, on whether it was going to be Ibarra or Roger. Renato won that one by 93%, I believe.
Get in the zone,
There you go.
AutoZone.
There you go.
That was a beautiful
Tremendous
goal. Oh, that was a beautiful goal.
But probably the most exciting thing we've seen that whole game.
Yeah.
I think I burned myself because I was ironing my shirt whenever I saw that.
It really was just that good. So, tremendous goal, tremendous, great effort and good teamwork, because I think America walks out and deserves the 3 points.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, we'll leave it at that. I mean, we can't. There's no real reason to go much into this. There's no real reason to try to deep dive into this. I think it was just that we complied with what we had. We gave a pretty good result. Walked away with 3 points. Got a clean sheet. On to the next.
Yeah. Good 3 points. We're still sitting. I think we're sitting decent on the table with the game in hand. So everything seems to be in order, and a good game to bounce back after that Monterrey lost. And the San Luis lost.
Yeah, definitely a way to kind of spring yourself back into action. Well, gentlemen, if there's nothing else to talk about in regards to the Querétaro game, should we move on into our next segment?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Alrighty. Everyone's favorite, or at least everyone who is watching right now, for those of you listening on SoundCloud and iTunes, we always urge you guys, if you guys can, come and watch a live show. It's going to change your life. We promise you. Because why? Well, we have trivia. Trivia in which you can earn yourself how much points, Christian?
When you join the podcast and answer the question, and if you get it correct, you will earn 20 points, and that'll help you, gain a little bit of advantage over your fellow competitors.
20 points. That is substantially a lot of points. So if you guys can, of course, today was kind of an off day because of America's situation in regards to the Copa MX. So that is why we moved the podcast to Wednesday. But all the time, regularly, if the Copa MX allows it, we will be live Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And of course, for those in Mountain, that is 8 o'clock in the night. So if you guys ever have a chance, come out, join us, and join the live chat. It's always fun hearing and talking to you guys in that aspect. But without further ado, Christian, I give you the floor. Let these beautiful people know exactly what is it that they can answer today.
Sure. Just before I give out the question tonight, guys, 2 quick updates. One, the scoreboard. Yes, I promised you guys Sunday I would post a scoreboard with the updated results, and if I made any mistakes, I got around to it. I did, but I don't know what happened with my computer, but it didn't save when I when I started editing all the scores, so everything got deleted. So I have to go back now and start doing all the points thing again, and it's gonna take a little while because I had college these past 3 days. But now I'll have a little bit more free time in the next couple of days, so I'll get that out for you guys as soon as possible. I'm sorry. Um, Everything should be updated. That's update number one. Number two, yesterday I finally received every single jersey that we were supposed to give away. So tonight after the podcast, I will be printing out the labels to ship it out for you guys tomorrow. And I hope you guys get your jerseys very soon. Thank you everyone for being patient. And I hope you enjoy your prize. Back to the trivia question. Ivan, if you may, can you put it in the chat, please? Thank you. Today's question is: who was the last player to wear the number 15 on Club America?
15?
Number 15, yes.
Oh damn, Dylan, you know this one just as much as I know.
Myself.
Oh man, no, I was gonna say Hobie Bermudez, but I don't know. Now I don't know.
But yeah, so that's a nice trivia question. Thank you guys for being so patient with me in terms of the scoreboard and the prizes. And I hope you guys get this one right.
Definitely. Trivia's been going really well.
Yeah, I like it, and it kind of hurts me because I've been failing in my part to some extent because I know how much everyone likes trivia, but it still means a lot to me that and to all of us that you guys are all very active and participating in trivia. So thank you guys once again, and good luck.
Oh yeah, definitely. Good luck to every single one of you guys. Within the next couple of weeks, we should have finalized exactly what it is that you guys are playing for. So don't think you're just playing blindly. So we'll give you guys an update on what that could be shortly in the upcoming weeks. Anything else in regards to trivia, Dylan? Anything you want to say? No. What about your recent scoreboard?
A recent scoreboard. I haven't checked it yet. I've been too busy.
You don't want to check.
Yeah, I checked mine and it was looking like I checked it and I thought I was checking my my bank account. I just saw negatives everywhere. It's quite shocking.
Oh man.
No, but thank you guys. You guys have that hour to submit your answers, and hopefully you guys climb up that scoreboard, climb up that ladder. It always surprises me how well these people do.
Yeah, it just shows that these people really really are true fans, and it's good to see.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, let's move on into the next segment. A pretty good segment, and it's one that's very special for us to talk about because it's revolving a very good event in regards to this weekend. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on into the preview of this Jornada 6, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That was 7.
I thought it was 6. Oh, fuck.
What? How are we not in sync on this one?
Match day 6.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. We're in match day 6, La Jornada 6. America will be taking on in the Estadio Azteca Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 Central, and then, of course, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now, why is this game important? Why is this game special? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. Because the boys and I are putting on our first ever viewing party here in Southern California for all Americanistas to come and join and watch alongside me. So we are going to be at Larry's Pizza and Sports Parlor in Fullerton, California. Huge shout out to Mr. James, who was nice enough to get us a booking for the venue, to give us a good amount of seats, to give us the venue as a place for us to host this. He was a great lad, and all we can do is just go down there, get a slice of pizza, come on down, grab a beer with me, let's watch America, let's talk America. It's gonna be amazing. So if you are in the Inland Empire, if you're in the LA County, in the Orange County area, anywhere within that area, come on down. I stress you guys, just come on down, join us. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a whole bunch of Americanistas coming together, and we're gonna be I haven't talked to these guys yet, but I'm getting exactly everything going so that we can get a giveaway as well. So we'll be doing a jersey giveaway for you guys once we get everyone into the venue. So come on down, Larry's Pizza and Sports Parlor down in Fullerton, close to the downtown area. Come on down, join us. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. I already got a lot of people telling me that it should be fun. It should be exciting. Actually, I will post right now a link into where you guys can RSVP and a certain amount of people. If you guys want to bring your friends, your family, your grandma, your grandpa, anyone, come on down, bring them. Uh, it's a family event, and we just want to come together and everything. So hopefully you guys come on down and enjoy it. And the reason why I did Fullerton was because I feel like we have listeners in LA, we have listeners here in the Inland Empire. So I thought it was the perfect place to kind of all of us meet into one place. So I know it could be quite of a drive. I know, I do apologize for that. I know I will be making that drive, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. Definitely going to be worth it. So I will put that link in the chat right now, so you guys can RSVP if you guys would like to. Again, we urge you to come. It should be fun. It's exciting, and it's really a test run for us. And if it turns out that we do well, this is definitely something we want to continue to do later on down the season. For the rest of you guys to come on down if you guys aren't able to make it this time around. Gentlemen, also before we go any further, a lot of people are asking about the Carson friendly in March. Of course, as soon as we heard, we jumped on it.
I was on that. You saw,
Yeah,
dude. I saw the tweet and I tweeted to them, "Yo, let's do something."
Definitely. So we're in the mix. We're working. We're contacting the people that we need to contact, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be at the game. We will be at the Fan Fest. For those of you who don't know, there's going to be a Fan Fest prior to the game. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Close, I think, outside the gates of the stadium, and then game says kickoff 6 o'clock, but I'm guessing it might be at 7. I'm not 100% confirmed or sure, but we will let you guys know. But yes, everything indicates that the Eagle Eye Podcast will be going down to Carson, California on March 23rd, and that March is going to be a pretty big month for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you want to tell them why?
Not 100% yet.
Oh, okay.
We'll keep some of that in to ourselves until everything is officialized and we can talk to them about it. But yeah, we'll be going down there. I will be there as bright and early as possible that Saturday morning to make sure I'm down there for the Fan Fest.
Eagle Eye booth?
Saying hi. What?
Eagle Eye Podcast booth?
That would be amazing to have an Eagle Eye podcast booth, but I don't think we have I don't think we bought a space.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Alrighty, but yes, if you guys can't make it down to the watch party, then most definitely make sure you guys make it out to the game in Carson, California. Tickets go on sale Friday. I mean, not Friday, Saturday. February 9th. If you guys haven't done so, prepare yourselves. That game's going to be a good one. So make sure you guys come on down. Mr. Jose Antonio, no, not Jose Antonio, Mr. Jose Amparon saying he's driving down from San Francisco to Carson to watch the game. Now, sir, you are a true fan. That is more than a 6-hour drive, ladies and
that's a friendly game, too.
And a friendly game.
Friendly. That's dedication.
That is dedication, and I want to meet you now. I want to meet you, Mr. Jose. That is one heck of a drive. So
get into some real things. Anyone in the chat, please, who thinks Ivan should buy me and Dylan tickets to go to Carson with him? Everyone in the chat, just say something, and then if we get enough retweets, I think Ivan will do it.
Yeah, I'll buy them tickets to come.
No, but yeah, it should be a fun weekend though.
It should be be interesting. Now, Jose Sepulveda saying tickets go on sale tomorrow. That's not what I saw. I saw that they go on sale on the 9th through Ticketon. But
Ticketon.
Yeah, funny enough, that's that's where you have to buy your ticket through. Well, at least that's one of the places where you can buy it through. I'm not sure if you can go through Ticketmaster or StubHub or anything like that, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of that
Yeah.
situation at hand. But yeah, we're excited and we hope to see you guys there. So oh, Sepulveda saying that I'm right. So yes, tickets go out Saturday, February 9th. And again, Saturday, February 9th is the day of our watch party. Funny how all these things coming together, right?
Yeah.
So if you are in the area and you guys can make it down to Fullerton, to Larry's Pizza and Sports Parlor, we urge you to come on down, watch the game with us. Plenty of Americanistas are going to be there. Plenty of people from the Liga MX community are going to go. And hopefully you guys can come enjoy the game with us. So, gentlemen, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk America versus Leon. A game
Yes.
a game that should be quite exciting because you're looking at an America side who looks a little bit more bolstered. It looks like they're playing a little bit better now after that Necaxa win, going up against a very decent Leon side. A Leon side that our good friend Miss Cari Torres supports would probably attest to the fact that, hey, guess what? This Leon side is actually looking like they can play a little bit more than they did last season.
No, definitely. Yeah. Their goal ratio right now is 10 goals scored, 5 conceded. So they're scoring. We know that much. We know that they have a pretty good offense and can spring into life any given moment. And this should be one that America shouldn't take lightly, considering that we always have a good match against Leon and usually come out with the short stick. But no, but yeah, it should be a good match though.
No, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, most definitely. Now, of course, everything that is surrounding this game is, of course, the debut of our new number 9, even though he's wearing number 15.
Yes.
Mr. Nico Castillo looks like he will
Yes.
be coming off the bench and he
Mm-hmm.
will be making his appearance.
His appearance, yes, and I really really hope the attendance is well for this Saturday because it should be it should be. There's a lot of hype around Nico Castillo. I know I'm personally very excited to see what he can bring to America. I mean, I know what he can bring. It's just a matter of fact if he will do it or not. And I really hope he gets a good decent amount of minutes. Hopefully maybe he comes in around the 55th minute mark and see what he can do.
No, yeah, definitely, definitely. I think with the little bit of interviews we've seen, the little bit of interviews that we've heard, he's saying all the right things. He
Yeah,
looks like he's confident.
he does.
He looks like he's motivated. Now the question is whether or not he can put his actions into his own words.
Hmm.
Because I feel like it's one thing to say the right things, it's another thing to actually go and do them. Now, no one's gonna question the fact that he has a capacity to do so. It's
Yes.
whether or not the shirt's gonna fit him correctly.
Hmm.
Now I'm excited. I know a lot of us are hyped up. A lot of us are expecting for this team to actually go and get things going. And Nico Castillo, of course, at the helm of all of this. You know, y- do we expect him to bag a goal possibly?
Um, you know, I want to say yes, but ultimately it'll have to be how the game's flowing. Can he bag one in? I think he can bag two in, if I'm being honest with you. But we'll have to see how many minutes Herrera gives him as well.
No, yeah. Definitely, definitely. And then of course, this is gonna be on next week's episode, and you guys are not gonna want to miss next week's episode because we're previewing the Clásico Capitulino between America and
Ooh,
Pumas. And boy, is that one gonna be a little bit feisty seeing Castillo come back.
that's gonna be a good one, honestly. I'm honestly very excited for this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. But let's focus on Leon at hand right now. First, let's talk a little bit about the team itself. So Leon obviously scoring a lot of goals, although conceding some quite as well. 5 goals conceded. That means they conceded about a goal per match.
Yes,
Uh,
on average.
Obviously
Mhm.
means that defensively they're not the soundest of players. And if you think about it, they have a liability in Mosquera in their defense. You
Mhm.
look at this player, he looks very very much like the weak link in that aspect. And you think at some point, a Roger, even a Nico Castillo, when he comes in, all
Mhm.
he needs to do is put him under pressure, and he could easily find himself the floodgates opening into the defense and a clear chance at goal.
Mhm.
Obviously, Cota, who always seems to have pretty good games against us, is probably going to be someone to look out for in net. But then you look at the side, Leon is playing good with decent players, and it just feels like the team chemistry overall is getting right where they need to be. Although on the most brightest side ever, America will not have to deal with the nightmare of Mauro Boselli anymore.
Oh, and I think that's a huge plus for us because that seemed to be our kryptonite. And I guess good for us. He's not here. So, but that still shouldn't take away of their front four, which like I said previously, they can be pretty scary when they start connecting and things start going their way.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is the fact that you felt like we always were playing a goal down, even before the game started, because you knew Boselli was playing and you knew he was going to score.
Yeah,
So you knew you had to get on the score sheet.
it's annoying.
Now it feels a little bit different. Now this feels a little bit more balanced in that sense. Obviously, though, America with the obligation at home to go out and completely steamroll as much as possible.
No, definitely, yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. We'll definitely have to wait and see. Now, let's jump into this preview as we always do, and let's talk and let's predict this weekend's lineup, our favorite time. Our good friend, Mr. Cowboy Dan, seems to be having a little bit of technical difficulties, so he'll jump in as soon as he can. But Christian, let me hear, what do you have predicted for Saturday in regards to starting 11?
Okay, so for Saturday, I have Marchesín in net, Paulo Aguilar, Aguilera, Valdez, and Jorge Sanchez. In the midfield, I have Renato Ibarra, Guido Rodriguez, Edson Alvarez, and Chucho Lopez. And up top, I have Roger Martinez and Henry Martin.
Now, to be honest, I wouldn't move that lineup at all.
Right.
I agree with it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
think Clemente starting.
Well, what's up, Ben? You think Benedetti's starting in the left wing position?
No. I think Clemente starting.
Oh, Clemente. Oh, you said Clemente. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Benedetti. My bad.
I wish.
I mean, I wouldn't start him personally, but we know Miguel Herrera.
I don't know if anyone knows exactly, and we should probably know this is terrible on our part. But I don't know if America has filled the required minutes.
No, we haven't
youngsters.
We haven't.
No, huh?
No, we haven't. We're if how many Clemente play? 70. No, we're still a few jornadas away. I think it'll take about 2 or 3 more jornadas after this one to complete it. But that we're gonna see youngsters in the next few weeks. We're definitely gonna see them. It's just who we're gonna see and where they're gonna play.
Well, I think Clemente's starting. I think he's just gonna put Clemente there. Again, you gotta fill in those minutes, right? You gotta get those minutes going.
Yeah. And maybe like you said, maybe he's just, or I forgot, honestly. I'm sorry. Whoever said that, we're just using our youngsters now, and then for later on in the season when, our players start coming back, we just kind of, push them up to the side a bit and use them as like a plan D just in case,
No, yeah, that was me.
Okay, that was you? Okay, I'm sorry. But I totally agree with you though.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, anything else to add on this lineup? I don't think there is. I think it is what it is right now, and I mean, nothing more to say about it. I mean, there's not much you can move around. Benedetti's in no shape to play a full 90 minutes. I don't care how good he looked in 30. I do expect to see him more in the second half. I do expect Nico to come in probably in the 70th minute. Depending on how the game's going, he might have to come in a little earlier. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. No, hopefully he doesn't come in that early because that means that we need him to come in. I don't want him to come in.
I just want to see him, honestly. I just want to see him. Take out Henry Martin, put in Nico Castillo. What do you mean?
But also, I expect Ibargüen to get some minutes as well.
Ibargüen be on the bench?
It looks like he's almost coming back to and could be featuring in this game. Nothing is 100% sure. We're still on Wednesday, so we will know by Friday whether or not he'll make the bench. But keeping your fingers crossed, looks like he's going to be back in shape, and hopefully you can see some action in the second half. And we'll have to wait and see if he does. But I would expect those to be the 3 substitutions made unless something goes completely wrong, which it's America. It always does. We'll have to wait and see whether Piojo gets
I'm excited now.
Different changes going on. Now, huge shout out has to go to Piojo because he's coming into this game with 100 victories with America under his belt.
Yes, I seen that earlier. It's I guess you could say the big milestone for Miguel Herrera. Um,
That's
he's
that's 300 points.
yeah, he's done everything. He did everything pretty well last season. A few hiccups here that could have probably he could have resolved himself, but chose not to. Starting off good this season, in my opinion. I think you would agree with me, and I just hope he continues to ride this good wave because we're playing well. A lot of our players, a lot of our players are starting to return, and it should be better from here.
It should be, fingers crossed. But this is America, and for some reason, things always seem to go sideways for us. It's whether or not we can cope with that
Mhm.
that matters. So, obviously, big milestone for Piojo, and also a big motivation to get tactics right, so he can make it 101 in this
Yeah.
game. What is it that America needs to do? Let's you know how does America come into this game and walk out with 3 points? Besides the usual, give me something that you think America needs to do right in order to get this Leon side under pressure and get things going right away.
Sure. I really think we have to. I think catch him off guard. I don't expect you to watch a lot of Leon games, but I tend to try to watch our rival a little bit. Preview this podcast, and I do notice a lot that, especially with the youngster they have in Miguel Herrera as their center back, which is pretty funny, and Mosquera, they like to push up a lot, honestly, and I think that could be a plus and a negative. It could be a negative because they can offer something to the attack, but it also could be a negative for them because our strikers like Roger Martinez, who loves the space and can create something in space. If you catch him off a little bit out of position, you can create something from there, as well as their right back Navarro. He likes to push up a lot too and try to help Mena on the attack as well. So if we can catch them, pushed up a little bit in opposition, I think we have a good chance of creating a good counterattack and probably a scoring chance.
Yeah, definitely. Dylan, what do you think America needs to do this game against Leon, tactically speaking, to to not just look good, but to also get the result, which obviously needs to be a win.
Oh,
Oh no, I believe our Cowboys' microphone is not working.
Oh, there we go. Are you back? Hear me now?
there you go.
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, no, when I was what I was trying to say, yeah, definitely a win. They need to come out and really go almost a full 90 whenever they did against the first half against Querétaro, which is just just controlling the ball, dictating the pace, and just playing their game. And that's something that they've done consistent. That's something we've said a bunch of times, and something that I brought up. And it's just doing that, like you mentioned too, it's just that simple 1-2 pass, get things going, making the smart pass, not making the dumb pass, knowing when to pass back if you need to. Don't force no bad passes or anything. And other than that, I think if you play like that, you play your game, you're going to play cleanly and you're going to play a good game and go out and get the result.
Definitely. I think you need to use and abuse your pace that you have this game. I think their center backs are not the quickest, and even with a bit of pace on them, they seem to be clumsy at times.
Yes.
So I think just use and abuse Renato Ibarra's speed. There's times where America's playing, and all he needs is a good through ball, and he's in. And I think he's gonna find himself in those spaces this week. And I'd really like to see pinpoint precision passing from our forwards. Really, we'll have the opportunity to let Renato a little bit more loose and just use and abuse that speed. I'm not so sure who the winger is, whether it's Tony Lopez, whether it's Clemente, but still, expect them to hopefully have a decent game, actually get through the defender and whip in a good ball, or even take on a good shot.
Yeah.
I think a player that's going to be very important to us is going to be Edson Alvarez in this midfield role. The things that he does so well is the things that we've praised players like Menes for doing. He's able to receive the ball and know exactly where he needs to go and what he needs to do with it. And there's moments in times where he's passing the ball and he doesn't force it. He doesn't get too crazy with it. He plays a simple 1-2 pass, and sometimes just a simple direct pass. And you think, well, why are we praising him for that? Well, because other players would try to take the ball more up. They would try to risk, trying to take on one or two defenders. But I think Edson does well as he plays it safe, but at the same time knows exactly how he's moving through the game as the game is going. He's muscling players out. For someone his size, you think he's a bit scrawny, but he's obviously doing things right at the gym, and he's muscling out players left, right, and center sometimes, positioning wise. He just seems to know exactly what to do in that midfield. He plays sometimes a bit of a cam. Sometimes he plays a bit of a center defensive mid. Sometimes he's a very, loose center mid. He adapts to the game very well. He adapts to what things are going very, very good. So I think Edson is going to be a crucial part of whether or not, we walk away with 3 points. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Edson scores a goal from outside the box.
Yeah, you kind of do see sometimes he likes to get a little bit of antsy and take a shot, but it's good. I mean, having that player that's not afraid to shoot it from outside the box is always a good thing to have. I wouldn't be surprised either if he scored, but like you said, though, he's just the boss in the midfield, and he just recognizes, he knows that he's alongside Guido, and they just know how to they know each other, they play off each other very well, and that's a huge advantage for us going into this match.
Definitely. Someone put our good friend Oscar Rodriguez saying, I don't know why we let Pedro Arce leave. He would always carry the team on his back. He was a one-man show.
Did he even play?
He played a couple of times.
Did he?
Yeah.
He was just subbed in.
I questioned every time he came in. Questioned still everything about him. But yeah, hopefully, Pedro, if you're listening to this, hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And do we even know where he ended up?
He went back to Greece.
I think he went back to Greece, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I mean, he's going back to Europe, right?
I mean, I guess, but I honestly would have liked him to see on another Liga MX team, Maybe someone like a team like Necaxa, maybe, who seems to.
Can you imagine Pedro Arce alongside Osmar Mares?
Imagine. Oh my God, you guys see the game? And Osmar Mares took the free kick and that went to the corner flag. It didn't even touch the box. Dude, I started laughing. Osmar Mares.
That was intended. He's like, I can't put this ball in the box. He's an Americanista fan. Yeah, I'm sure of it. He's like, I can't do this to my team.
Yeah. So thank you, Osmar Mares, and
he's the GOAT for a reason. Definitely. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how this team comes out. Piojo, of course, has a lot that he wants to see out from this team. And then, of course, you're going to have a pretty decent bench in regards to Benedetti, Nico Castillo, hopefully even Ibargüen, which kind of brings us to the point of how many foreigners are going to be fielding this America roster.
Yeah, that's a very good question to ask. And you know what? It's at this point right now, it's not a problem, but give it 2 weeks and it's going to become a huge problem. And I think that's when we need to have the conversation of, which two foreigners need to see the stands and, sit some games out.
No, yeah, definitely. And you know what the thing is, with the predicted lineup we gave out, there's 6 players that are foreigners. That means you have 3 spots in the bench for another foreigners. That is perfect because you have Ibargüen, you have Benedetti, and you have Castillo, right?
Right.
Then you say, what happens next week,
Yeah. What if Miguel Herrera likes to start Nico Castillo? Okay, then you have Henry Martin on the bench. And then let's just say, is Uribe back next week? Or Uribe needs a little.
He's being contemplated as he might be.
He might be. Okay, so then you have that problem. Okay, do we sit Uribe on the bench just in case he wants put him in for minutes? It's tough and it hurts because it's a good thing because the eternal competition. It's always a good thing. But it's a bad thing because, the players that you're sending to the stands, they have potential and they can offer something to the team, but there's just no room. And I don't know what to do in that position if I was Miguel Herrera, but I guess that's why I'm not the coach and he is.
Yeah, definitely. He's got some tough decisions going his way, but we'll have to wait and see. And see. But for now, I think we should be fine for this week against.
For now.
Now, everyone's favorite part, prediction time. So, gentlemen, give me your predicted scoreline. Christian, I'll throw it to you first. what's your intended result for Saturdays?
I'm gonna go 3-1.
3-1 America.
Yes, 3-1 America.
Nice. Dylan.
I'll take that too.
Okay. 3-1. I am gonna go with an America 2-0 result.
2-0. I like that.
2-0.
Wow, not 4-0, Ivan.
No, not 4-0 today. No, I feel we're gonna be a little bit more conservative in that aspect. And watch it be 4-0 just because I
Yeah.
said 2-0.
It's gonna be 4-0 now.
But
I hope it's 4-0 now.
oh, I will.
Yeah.
I'd be happy if it's 4-0. A little bit angry inside, but it's hopefully it is that result line, and hopefully it's a good game as well. That's the most important part. Now, for those of you questioning, because we didn't do this last week, what EA Sports FIFA 19 is saying. Well, right now the game hasn't ended officially, but America is getting spanked 3-1.
Nice.
Oh.
So let's hope this is not the result, right? So knock on wood, and let's hope that America can walk away with all 3 points, because I think that's relatively what we want, what this team needs, just to get build up in the confidence. Because of course next week is the Clásico Capitulino, and you really, really need to come into that game guns blazing, because of course it's an away game. As long as I know a lot of people like to say that's our house. Maybe it's our house in Liga, but it's not our house during league play all the time. And this is a Puma side that's studying America. Of course, we saw the coach last week at the game in Querétaro,
Yes.
against Querétaro, excuse me, and possibly a new different Puma side. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know. But of course, America needs to get things done first against Leon, and that means getting the 3 points. And then, of course, even if it's a rusty, crusty, terrible 1-0 result that we get, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Building some confidence. And I think once we get to the Jornada 8, that's when we'll really start criticizing whether or not America needs to up and up their style of play, because hopefully by then they actually have it down.
And you should see by the end of, I'm gonna give it the beginning of March, it's all players healthy, hopefully, knock on wood. And this is it. This is where we truly get to see this America potential and hopefully take the league by storm.
Hopefully, definitely, hopefully. So gentlemen, anything else you want to add on before we close out this segment?
I'm good.
No? Out of all those goals, do any of you predict a Nico Castillo goal?
Yes. The last one. So my 3-1, he will score the third goal.
Dylan?
I see it.
Okay. If we win 4-0, yes. Yeah, I see him scoring. If we win 2-0, I don't think so.
I think the real question is, do you see a Marchesín goal this game?
I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if at one point Marchesín takes a penalty this season.
I think he should.
That'd be funny. I would like that.
I promise you. I'm pretty sure we'll see that this season. I don't know. Something just tells me Marchesín will take a penalty. So hopefully I'm right. That should be an interesting, fun thing to watch. But all right, if that's nothing else to add on, that is our preview. Hopefully you guys feel the same way, that America can walk away with the result. I see a lot of people giving 3-1, 4-0, 2-0, 2-1s. Adamant about a result, and hopefully America can walk away with a very, very good showcasing. Of course, again, a reminder that this game is going to be live via Univision and Univision Deportes. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, for those of you coming down to the live show at Larry's Pizza in Fullerton, doors open at 4 o'clock. I will be there at 3:59, just in case anyone wants to get there a little earlier. But yes, come on down, 4 o'clock, get your food, get some beer, get yourself ready, prepare yourself, and let's watch the game together. Should be fun, should be exciting, and I hope to see as many of you down there. And if you're listening to the podcast, you're more than welcome to join if you are in the area. Again, if you're in the Los Angeles, in the Orange County, in the Inland Empire area, we do urge you and we do invite you to come on down, have some fun, get a beer, drink some I was gonna say drink some wine. I don't know if they have that. If they do, come on down, drink some wine, and grab yourself a slice of pizza and it's fun. It should be exciting, and we hope for the best so we can do this again sometime next month in March as well. So, gentlemen, I think that's it in regards to the men's.
Yes, yes, it is.
Chess.
As always, we're going to close out the podcast with a quick segment called the hashtag Lady Aguilas Corner. Our ladies unfortunately suffered their first defeat of the season, and unfortunately, it was against the rivals Pumas. I mean, that one stung. I'm not gonna lie, that one stung. That one hurt. And I know it hurt the ladies just as much. I wouldn't say we should be too concerned about it. It was a 1-0 result. It was a home game, which I would have liked to see us win. Um, but I think it's just a more motivation for the ladies to get better. I think we were seeing that this was eventually going to happen. You saw the consistency of 1-0 wins. You saw this team scraping through some of these teams in which you thought you could do better, you should do better. And sometimes there was points in which the game, you had everything under control, you weren't taking advantage of your chances. Now, we didn't see this game live, and we really don't have much to say. We really can't jump into details about it because we didn't see it at first hand. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me, look, America played well. They just didn't take their chances. And because of that, Pumas took their one that they did and just kind of held out for the game.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, Ivan. Like you said, we can't go much. We can't go much more off of that.
All we can do is urge the ladies to keep their heads lifted. Keep doing your thing, keep working, keep thriving. Look, these things are about to happen in the season. It's whether or not you can cope with it and grow from it that really determines whether or not you're capable of defending that championship.
Defending that championship, they got the stuff too. I mean,
No, they do. They got the players. They got the coaching staff. They got I'm pretty sure they have the will and the determination. So
the
it's just a
Cueva
matter of,
sisters.
huh?
The Cueva sisters.
The Cueva sisters definitely could be the first ever bicampeonato sisters. Just saying,
That'd be interesting.
that would be. So hopefully they can get back into the run of form. Now, Dylan, do you know their next game?
Monday at 6 versus Veracruz.
That's gonna be an interesting one. That one's definitely gonna be good. So first thing you do Monday morning before you get to work, before you go off to work, before you go off to school, make sure you do tweet out hashtag Lady Aguilas. Now, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I do want to put all the blame on me for the ladies losing the game against Pumas. I did not adhere to my own advice. I did not tweet out the hashtag Lady Aguilas. So I feel like I'm partly to blame for that loss. Is that fair to say?
I was putting the whole blame on you, actually.
Well, Dylan thinks I'm to blame for the whole game. I'm a little bit superstitious like that. I'm like, damn, I didn't tweet out hashtag Lady Aguilas. They lost. That kind of falls on me. So I'll take responsibility on that. I will, ladies. I'm sorry. I apologize. But don't worry. Monday morning, right before I get to work, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I will make sure to tweet out hashtag Lady Aguilas. We were behind you guys. Make sure you guys do tweet it out. I'm pretty sure the ladies would love the support. Would love to know the feedback that in the English department, they are well followed and well supported. So, ladies, keep on doing your thing. Keep on working. Keep on thriving. We expect great results from you. Now, gentlemen, anything else before we close out the show?
No, man, I'm good. I think we've covered everything.
Now, for those of you who are asking, because I know there's questions out there, whether about our YouTube giveaway, we will be getting that sorted out closely. We have reached over the 100 followers. So we will get that going. Gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we surpassed 700. Giveaway to adhere to, right?
Mm-hmm. We should really make an agenda because I've lost track of all the giveaways we need to do.
Yeah, we need to sit down and
So I'm gonna sit down with these gentlemen and we're gonna get things sorted out. But what you guys can do in the meantime while we get that going for next week is you guys can go follow us on Twitter at Eagle Eye Podcast. If you haven't done so already, follow us on Instagram at the same handle user at Eagle Eye Podcast. Follow us on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can find us there with just our name, the Eagle Eye Podcast. You can also find us on I was gonna say Spotify. Yeah, Spotify. Sorry, I was gonna say Shopify for some reason. We don't have merchandise as of yet.
Yeah.
We'll have to partner up with Gancitos to get like a Gancito Eagle Eye Podcast jersey, something along those lines. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Spotify as well, and on all major platforms. You can even find us sometimes on Reddit. I post sometimes the podcast there or some major announcements. So
you should post it all the time.
Keep up to date with America and keep up to date with the podcast, because at the end of the day, this is more yours than it is ours. Really, it really is. So for you, the listener, thank you so much. And I think that is all. We're going to close out the show now. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. We'll be seeing you guys on Saturday, whether you make it to the Fullerton game or whether you're on Twitter. We'll be live tweeting that game as well, or whether you're on Instagram. We'll be making sure we post as much pictures as we can about our viewing party event. Again, that is going to be at Larry's Pizza at Fullerton, California. I know I've been mentioning that over and over again, but it's just so that you guys can remember. You guys can go down. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. I hope you guys all make it. Gentlemen, anything else? No?
Keep an eye out. Oh, go ahead, Christian.
Oh, sorry. No, I just want to say thank you for everyone to stopping by. I saw a couple of new faces today, and that's always great to see. It just motivates us to keep doing this and try harder every single week. So thank you to everyone, and I hope Ivan sees many of you on Saturday.
Thank you. Dylan?
Keep an eye out for mine and Ivan's movie podcast.
Yes, we're going to have a movie podcast.
That was pushed back like 600
times. We rescheduled that for like about a month now. It's terrible.
They're terrible. They need a manager.
But at least we know where the priority stands in regards to a podcast. So you guys can find us here next week on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and 9 p.m. Central, of course, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And with that said, good night, everyone. Hope to see you guys on Saturday. And Arriba la America. Good night.
Bye, guys.